I was going through some of the first conversations that I had with one of my friends, the friend in Kherson, after the war started. I documented all of that. We were texting back and forth, and I made a Word document just documenting all of the important parts of our conversation because I didn't know if she was going to survive. And I started doing that from a point a couple days before the war of what I have documented from that. And, I was planning to, what I can share with her permission, share some of those thoughts in future videos. But I was just really hit. I only got to March 2nd in those, and I got really hit with the memories, what it felt like, all the different thoughts that I was having in my head, and the overwhelming helplessness, the fear, the anger, the frustration, why isn't the West doing more, the fears of Putin going nuclear. She talked about that Putin had admitted on the 22nd of February that there were in fact Russian soldiers in Donbass and had been, about the first round of negotiations, a couple days into the war, and how she didn't think that Russia was going to offer anything, adequate in terms of a deal, and just a lot of horrible things, horrible stories. And yeah, it really kind of hit me in a way that it's been a little while since I've been hit. I've kind of been able to, I don't want to say coast on anger, but I just remembered, it came back to me like it was happening now in my body, the feelings of fear, helplessness, sadness, I wanted to cry, I literally was reading it and I felt tears in my eyes. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stop and record this video. This video is completely unscripted, just me talking to you guys, sharing my personal experience of this, just with these emotions that I'm feeling right now. I had not planned to shoot this video, but it's just all come back to me, what it was like in the first days, from a couple days before when we were, really hoping that this wouldn't happen, to that moment when I got, the text that the Russians are shelling the cities of Ukraine, to we survived the first day, to Russian tanks are coming up from Crimea, to the Russians have occupied Kherson. And it was all so quick. I think one of the most heartbreaking things said was March 1st, today is not the first day of spring, it's the 6th day of war, and now we are nearly at 700 days of this fucking war. And, we talked about things like we hope that this is going to be quick, we hope that there's not going to be heavy losses. And looking back now, just thinking about it, the amount of civilian loss, the amount of soldiers lost, just the amount of Ukrainian lives lost, it's overwhelming. 2 fucking years of this bullshit. Yeah, it's a lot. It's good for me that I have this documented, because I can go back and I can remember exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm taking hours out of every single week to make videos supporting Ukraine, why I am dealing with the mind-numbing task of seeing Kremlin trolls and their comments day after fucking day for almost 2 fucking years. Why I'm still doing this. It's because of this. It's because the experiences that my friend had are not singular. Every Ukrainian in these first days of the war and every day since has stories like that, these moments, these fears. And any time that I hear, especially those stories from the first days of, you know, how Ukrainians had hopes and plans and goals and were just living their lives, and then the Russians just frickin' rolled across the goddamn border and started shelling the cities, started attacking civilians, started overwhelming, trying to take ground, trying to take Kharkiv, trying to take Kyiv, trying to take Kherson, and succeeding at taking Kherson. And just the horror of it, like, it's a really good reminder to me, like, why I'm doing what I'm doing, because it can be easy this far in to sometimes get numb to those emotions, sometimes forget, like suppress a lot of that shit because it doesn't feel good. Like, it feels really fucking painful. And I don't know how it's coming across on the video, but I'm probably blinking a lot because I feel like the freaking tears kind of like welling up a little bit, and I really don't fucking feel like crying right now. But like, that's the emotion, that's the feeling. And anybody who looks at this goddamn war and doesn't feel that, well, one, you probably don't have the kind of, like, don't have people in Ukraine, and I'm talking to Westerners here. Obviously, Ukrainians, you feel what you feel, you know, however that comes out, like, you feel how you feel. I'm talking to Westerners here about, like, if you don't feel like this kind of emotion about this, you need to get back in touch. I wish, like, I so fucking wish that I could get every goddamn Republican, you know, senator and congressperson who is opposing the Ukraine aid bill in a fucking room and read them line by fucking line this document that I have, as well as so many other accounts of Ukrainians who have gone through this fucking war. Those who have survived and those who have not survived. There are some horrific accounts from Mariupol that I remember seeing videos for a while back, just talking about the horrors there, you know, like from like surviving children talking about, you know, my uncle went out to get water and got hit by a shell, and, you know, my mother starved to death and I tried to wake her up and she wouldn't wake up, and just shit like that. And yeah, just don't forget that. Don't forget what Ukrainians have gone through. Don't forget those of you who had that feeling of wanting to support Ukraine at the beginning. Don't forget that. Come back to that. Remember these stories. Remember these people. Remember what people have been through. And keep supporting Ukraine, keep pushing our goddamn Congress people, or if you're in another country, whatever your government is, to support Ukraine the way it needs. Just the heartbreak of reading that there was hope that this might be quick, that things might be over soon, you know, tempered with, you know, admitting that Russia was never going to offer any kind of peace solution that was acceptable, but the hope that the war would not go on for so long. And here we are years later, and let's not fucking get tired. Let's fucking rally. Let's fucking keep supporting Ukraine and do what we need to do to not reward this fucking Russian aggression. Slava Ukraini.